Okay, so this first question here, if you remember how I said there's 3 things you need to do. You need to know how to name and draw. You need to memorize all your functional groups. You need to memorize all the different reactions. This one here is just your naming question, naming and drawing. So that one, when you get that one done, you need to get 3 correct. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the majority, and you get the achievement. So I won't go through and explain this because you can practice on your own. All right. This next question here is a little bit more challenging. This is the triglyceride, which is the one that Aha was complaining about. But you see here that it's exactly the same as stuff we've been seeing before because it's ester, ester, and ester. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to break up our esters into the alcohol and the carboxylic acid. So we're going to look for our ester group. I'm just trying to find a color I haven't used yet.
We'll use the bright pink again.
Which one? Oh, that one. Yeah, I'll do that. So you see, this is where my ester is because I see there's a single bond of oxygen and a carbonyl. So I'm going to break it here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to break it each ester.
Oh, so every time you see it.
Yeah, every time I see it, I break it. Then what I do is I translate the molecule. So this bit here is one of the molecules formed as a product.
That's one product.
And then this is the other product. And do you see how there's 3 of them?
Yep.
Okay. You see how they're exactly the same formulas? So these are basically the same answer.
Okay.
These can be different sometimes. So just be mindful then if these 2 are different, then write them both down. Okay. So the first thing here is if I look at this guy here, that's CH2, CH, CH2. I'm going to be adding a hydrogen, so that's going to be an alcohol, alcohol, and alcohol. It's a triol.
Okay.
Tri meaning 3. So I would go CH3, CH2, CH3. No, sorry, CH2. CH2. No, number 2 there. And then go OH, OH, OH. Because when I'm breaking up my esters, the alcohol gets the hydrogen, and then the carboxylic acid gets the OH. Just like when we were dealing with the amides, except in this case you're swapping out the amine for the alcohol. Okay? And then this guy here, just copying that guy. Now, yeah, you can chop. Depends on how you want to look at it. So the thing is about this question is that they are asking for an equation. So if I wanted to do this hydrolysis and it's going to be basic hydrolysis, then I need a base such as NaOH. Cool. All right. What I'm then going to do in this product side here is I'm going to still have my carboxylic acid, but you have a base in there, so that's going to change how things behave. So that's CH2, 16, CH3. So you see I'm just copying this down from up here? And then I'm going to add my OH, because it's a carboxylic acid. But because I've neutralized it, I am taking away the hydrogen, just like we were talking about previously. I'm making it a negative sign.
Yep.
And then because I have a base here, I'm just going to write Na plus, because that's neutralizing it. The positive and negative are going to attract together. Okay? So when it comes to this question here, there's lots of different ways you can get the achieved. Sorry, actually I should backtrack. It's not too hard to get the merit on this one. So the first thing is you need to recognize you need a strong base. So either you write that you need to have H2O, OH, that's just generic for base. You can write sodium hydroxide, you can write potassium hydroxide. So they do need to have this here. Okay? So base hydrolysis, all you just need to think about is what bases, any base. Okay. Second thing it needs is one product. The one that's probably going to be easier to draw is this guy. But both of these are correct products.
Okay.
Okay? So it's an or option there. Okay? Now here's some crazy news, because this is an easy excellence point in my books. So that's the achieved. The merit is correct formula for both organic products. So that guy and that guy. So if you get and of them, that's merit. So or is an achieved, and is the merit.
Okay, so if I do both then,
Mm-hmm.
that's merit.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing for the excellence is a balanced equation. So all you need to do is put 3's in front. 3, and 3. So there's 3 tails.
Oh.
And then what else did they want? Balanced equation with correct structural formula indicates aqueous solution, so they just want you to write that this is AQ. But that's for excellence, so don't stress. You think? Not too bad. A lot of these questions, not too bad. I don't know where my last page of this guy goes. All right. Next one here is your equipment. This one is, again, just the memorization, which you just need to know which each equipment's used for. When you look at the marking schedule, I lost that page. Where's page 7? Oh, here it is, got it. Okay. Oh, it is here. So you see here, selects B with valid reason. So you just need to know what the different things are. So there's only 2 bits of equipment that you're going to be, or no, sorry, there's 3. No, there's 2. There's multiple, but there's only 2 that really matter. This one here is distillation. This one here is reflux. Okay? You only need distillation to make aldehydes. So you only use this for aldehydes. And the reason why is because it removes product, so that way it doesn't do the second oxidation step. Which is 2-carboxylic acid, in case you're wondering. Okay? This one here, reflux, the purpose for that one is to ensure high yield or something like that. So speed up reaction. And create a high yield. So high yield just means we make a lot of product. And again, it's just memorized. And it makes sense too, because when you look at this guy here, when it's reacting and heating, it's going to then be removed out to another test tube. This one here, it's trapped. It goes up, goes back down. And that's the achieve point. The merit is giving 2 reasons. So this one here, he says, like, you can get some more justification because it's just saying increase the rate of reaction without any loss of the reactants, and it ensures the reaction goes to completion. So that's a merit, which is crazy generous. And then the last question, this is the one I was talking about of blah, 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 skip it. So you see here I said skip the compound blah, 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 blah that has the formula structural isomer question. I'm asking you to I'm asking you to skip this question here. Because looking at the achieved stuff, it's actually really hard to get there. Okay? Because there's a lot of things you're holding in your head and there's not as many hints. So when you see this question here, just skip it. Okay? Because when
just compound C, just like.
So when you see something that says, so you have to be careful to not confuse it with some of the other questions. Let me just find the other one. So I don't want you, oh, that one turned off randomly again. Okay, that's weird. I don't want you to skip this question because you see how these both have formulas in there? Mm-hmm. The difference with this one here, though, is that it gives you the hints like this. So do it for this. This one here, though, you'll realize when you're reading it, is that it's saying compound C is a branch molecule with this formula. Here's some hints to what compound C does. It then does this reaction to produce compound D. Then compound D reacts to produce compound E. So now we're talking about a flow chart. That's not actually written. And it says compound E and D both turn black. Like all of this is tied in that you need to understand the previous step to understand the next step. And that's actually quite challenging. So my recommendation is you can give it a go if you have time and you want to. You can do the same process of, annotate what you know to help you give you as hints, but there's not as many hints here. The problem is with this part of the marking schedule, when you look at it, it says compound C is an enantiomer and can undergo acid hydrolysis. So that's being able to recognize this. So when I look at compound C, That's weird. That's saying that. Just recognizing those things. I don't know why that's an achieve point, because you're just regurgitating what's up here. I don't know why that's an achieve point. I don't know if that's actually realistic of what they're going to do. Because that's just regurgitating what's up here. And if you want, give compound C a go, because that's the first one. But unfortunately, with everything else, they are tied together. Because you're saying, if I have compound C makes D, compound D makes E, and compound E produces F. So if you can't figure out what E is, you're never going to figure out what F is. And that's the challenge with this question. So, and then when you look at the achieve points, it wants you to do 2 correct conversions of function groups between compounds. So they basically act like you don't have to get the whole molecule right, but you need to know, okay, if I'm going from C to D, and then I need to figure out what D to E is. So basically, you need to get to this point of the question to get it achieved, which is really, really hard. You've had other questions like this, but again, like I said, they're more scaffolded or they're more generous with the marking schedule, like this guy over here. This one is the same as this one here, except the way it's structured and the hints they give you help you know what the first and last step are. Because you know the first step is I need to get rid of this ketone, and this one, like I need to have an alcohol and a carboxylic acid to make this. So you can actually figure out what's going on. This one here, though, it's so much jargon. So that's my advice, is to skip this one. Just don't even look at it. You can give it a go if you have time. We're looking for page 10. Okay. So if we're looking at, and the reason why I say it's a safe idea to skip this question is because you have this question here. If you get that question there right, that should be an achieve point. So that's an achieve point here. If you get this question right, there are 2 achieve points. So now you're already at an A3. And that last achieve point is going to get you to an A4.
Okay.
So you just take an A3 on that one. So if this one you got an A3 on, then you need to be getting at least 5 points elsewhere. So either 4 and 1, or 3 and 2, or, yeah.
So basically try to attempt as much as you can, just in case.
Yeah. Because it is a very kind of like, you can see that each question has a point in there, and they're not giving you any extra leeway. So some other exams like bio, they'll give you multiple ways to get an achieve point, but this 4 achieve points and that's it, and 4 achieve points is an A4. So do it and answer everything. But the only one I'm recommending that you do skip is this last one here, because it is quite conceptually hard to do. Also remember when you're doing the organic exam to flick through the whole thing, start with what is you're most confident with. So like do this one first, because this is probably going to be the most straightforward one, because it's just naming and drawing. And then go through the rest of the question and then answer it in whatever like makes the most sense first, which ones you think are easier. I think they're going to be more or less the same because you're still doing the same process. And then if you see this question, leave it till the very end. Give a crack at it if you want to. All right? That's what you got to do. Yes. All right, any other questions?
The majority of the exams look like this?
Yes, you can look through. I'm happy to print them as well. There's the 2020, there's 2021. No Brain Too Small has all of them going back to like 2012. So I would definitely practice the 2022 because I've noticed in the last couple years the exam questions have been getting kind of wonky. And so just to be prepared in case they throw another curveball, because they did throw a curveball with the level 2 bio, which I was not impressed with. You want to be kind of ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely do the 2022. But yeah, you got to memorize your reactions. If you don't have your reactions memorized, then none of this makes sense. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't actually have to understand the whole question, what the question's asking for, if you can just decode the main things. Yeah.